Canada's Aboriginal populations experience much lower economic, social and educational outcomes than their non-Aboriginal peers. This is troubling given the fact that Aboriginals will increasingly become an important source of labour supply in a time when Canada needs skills to compete in global markets. Our analysis of Aboriginal skills reveals several troubling facts. The first is that on average, Aboriginal workers work in jobs that demand lower levels of skill than their non-Aboriginal peers. This means they'll earn less, and they work in jobs that are much more exposed to the vagaries of international competition. If we turn and look at the supply side, on average, their skills are significantly lower than their non-Aboriginal peers, which in a Canadian labour market, which is savagely efficient at selecting and identifying and selecting on skill, it means that Aboriginal workers are going to be systematically disadvantaged. They'll be the last to be hired, they'll be the first to let go, and in between, they'll be paid far less than their non-Aboriginal peers. This level of mismatch is troubling more so by the fact that we see large surpluses of Aboriginal workers with level 1 and 2 skills, far more workers than there are jobs at those levels, and shortages of Aboriginal workers with level 3, 4, and 5 skills, where we have rapidly rising demand for jobs at those levels. If we look at the costs and benefits associated with these disadvantages, they're enormous. We estimate that it would take $1.4 billion to raise all Aboriginal workers' skills to level 3. This would ensure their ability to compete fully and fairly in the Canadian labour market and to contribute to our competitiveness in the global economy. Were we to make this investment, we estimate that Aboriginal incomes would go up by some $2.5 billion annually, enough to imply a rate of return of 169%. The relatively poor social and economic performance of Canada's Aboriginal populations is on one level shameful. It's inequality of a sort that most Canadians would not and do not want to tolerate. On the other hand, we see this enormous economic opportunity that were we to fix the Aboriginal skill problem, we would have the skills for Canada to compete on global markets.